In the dark corners of World War II, some bunkers held secrets darker than their concrete walls. Take the strange case of the underground fortress where every door was mysteriously locked from the inside. It was 1944. The German military had constructed an incredible network of underground defense systems across occupied Europe, massive concrete labyrinths designed to be nearly impenetrable. But this particular bunker near the French-German border was different. Allied reconnaissance had mapped hundreds of these defensive structures, thick reinforced walls, complex ventilation systems, multiple escape tunnels. But this one was special. When American reconnaissance teams first discovered the site, something felt wrong. The exterior looked standard gray concrete, camouflaged against the surrounding forest. Heavy steel blast doors, typical Nazi military engineering. But as they approached, the first strange details emerged. The bunker sat deep in a wooded region near the Ardennes. Satellite images and ground intelligence suggested it was a critical communication hub. But no radio signals had been detected for weeks, no troop movements, no supply chains, just silence. Military intelligence officers studied the layout carefully, multiple underground levels, sophisticated electrical systems, advanced climate control mechanisms that were decades ahead of their time, but no signs of life. When the first recon team entered, they found something impossible to explain. Every single interior door was locked. Not just secured, massive, physically locked from the inside. Massive steel blast doors with internal locking mechanisms engaged, as if everyone inside had deliberately sealed themselves in. The rooms were untouched, maps still spread on tables, coffee cups half full, radio equipment powered down but intact, personal belongings scattered around. But no people, no bodies, just an eerie stillness that felt wrong. Wehrmacht records were meticulously kept. But for this specific bunker, nothing. No personnel assignments, no construction logs, no maintenance records. It was like the structure had simply appeared, fully formed, with no official documentation. Forensic teams would later discover something even more bizarre. The internal temperature was precisely controlled, around 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Ventilation systems hummed softly, as if waiting. Emergency generators stood ready. Fuel tanks full, everything prepared. But for what? Theories began to circulate. Had the entire staff been evacuated? Had they escaped through some unknown tunnel system? Or was something more sinister at play? One theory suggested a potential biological containment scenario. The Nazi regime had been experimenting with advanced weapons technologies. Some researchers speculated this might have been a sealed research facility where something had gone dramatically wrong. But the locked doors remained the most haunting detail. Every single internal door, from small communication rooms to massive equipment chambers, locked from the inside. Not forced, not damaged, simply locked, as if the occupants had deliberately chosen isolation. Military historians would spend decades trying to unravel the mystery. Declassified documents, interviews with aging veterans, forensic analysis. But the bunker's true purpose remained elusive. What happened in those underground chambers? What secrets were sealed behind those thick concrete walls and mysteriously locked doors? The story was just beginning. Dr. Elena Schroeder's research team first learned about the bunker through a series of fragmented SS communication intercepts discovered in recently declassified archives. These documents hinted at something far more complex than a standard military installation. Initial ground-penetrating radar scans revealed anomalies that defied conventional architectural understanding. The underground complex seemed to extend far deeper than initial surveying suggested, with structural layers that didn't correspond to known German engineering techniques of the 1940s. Professor Heinrich Müller, a leading expert in World War II military infrastructure, became obsessed with the site. His preliminary analysis indicated the bunker's construction required technological capabilities that simply shouldn't have existed in that era. Reinforced concrete compositions, electromagnetic shielding and precision engineering suggested capabilities decades ahead of contemporary technology. What made the site truly extraordinary was its geographical positioning. Located in a remote region of the Bavarian Alps, the bunker occupied a geological zone with unique electromagnetic properties. Geophysicists noted unusual magnetic field distortions within a 5-kilometer radius, suggesting potential advanced technological interventions or natural phenomena beyond current scientific comprehension. Classified NATO reports from the 1960s referenced the site obliquely, with cryptic notations suggesting periodic reconnaissance missions. These documents, heavily redacted, implied ongoing interest from multiple intelligence agencies, American, Soviet, and British, long after the war's conclusion. Forensic metallurgists analyzing small fragments recovered from the site discovered something unprecedented. The metal alloys used in critical structural components contain trace elements not recognized in any standard metallurgical database. Spectrographic analysis revealed isotopic compositions that seemed to suggest exotic manufacturing processes. Satellite imagery from different decades showed subtle landscape transformations around the bunker's location. Vegetation patterns, ground subsidence, and thermal signatures indicated ongoing subterranean activity, despite the supposed abandonment. Witness testimonies added another layer of complexity. Local alpine villagers spoke of strange nocturnal lights, unexplained radio interference, and periodic military cordons that would mysteriously appear and vanish without explanation. Some elderly residents recalled hearing unusual low-frequency vibrations emanating from underground, descriptions that modern acoustic engineers found difficult to categorize. Dr. Samuel Weiss, a quantum physicist specializing in historical technological anomalies, proposed a controversial theory. He suggested the bunker might represent an experimental site for advanced research into quantum communication, or potentially even rudimentary quantum manipulation technologies. His hypothesis drew from obscure references in recovered SS scientific documents discussing theoretical physics research that seemed to challenge contemporary understanding of spatial-temporal mechanics. These documents hinted at experiments exploring interdimensional communication protocols and energy transfer mechanisms. But the most intriguing evidence came from a series of encrypted communication logs discovered in a forgotten Munich archive. These documents referenced a highly classified project known only by the cryptonym Schwarz-Sonne. The terminology suggested something beyond conventional military research, potentially involving esoteric scientific exploration. Forensic electrical engineers who examined the bunker's remaining infrastructure noted sophisticated grounding systems and electromagnetic shielding that seemed designed to contain or potentially redirect energy in ways that modern technology was only beginning to understand. Geopolitical analysts tracking historical intelligence patterns noted something even more peculiar. Multiple intelligence agencies had maintained a consistent, decades-long interest in the site, periodically sending covert research teams. This sustained attention suggested the location held significance far beyond typical historical curiosity. Radiological surveys conducted in the late 1980s revealed subtle background radiation anomalies within the bunker's immediate vicinity. These readings didn't conform to standard nuclear or geological radiation signatures, suggesting potential exotic energy interactions. The mystery deepened with each investigation, transforming from a historical curiosity into a complex multi-layered enigma that challenged conventional understanding of wartime technological capabilities, scientific research, and the very boundaries of human knowledge. What secrets remained locked within those underground chambers? What technological boundaries had been explored by net to potentially crossed in that isolated alpine complex? The story was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning to unfold. The breakthrough came unexpectedly in 2019, when Dr. Elena Rodriguez, a forensic archaeologist specializing in World War II technological research, discovered a sealed titanium containment unit buried beneath layers of sediment near the bunker's western perimeter. Initial spectroscopic analysis revealed trace elements that defied standard classification. Isotopic signatures suggested materials that seemed simultaneously ancient and impossibly advanced. The containment unit itself was constructed from an alloy that combined tungsten and rare earth elements in a molecular configuration that modern metallurgists could not fully replicate. Inside the unit, carefully preserved within a gel-like suspension, researchers found fragments of documentation and what appeared to be technological components. Most intriguing was a crystalline storage device no larger than a human thumbnail, its internal structure suggesting data encoding methods far beyond mid-20th century capabilities. Preliminary quantum decryption attempts by an international team of researchers revealed fragmented data streams suggesting complex mathematical models related to quantum entanglement and nonlinear energy transfer. The implications were staggering. Diaries, these were not merely historical artifacts, but potential evidence of scientific exploration that challenged fundamental understanding of physics. Dr. Rodriguez's team spent 18 months conducting extensive analysis. They collaborated with quantum physicists from CERN, computational experts from MIT, and classified research divisions within multiple international scientific institutions. Each layer of investigation revealed more questions than answers. The crystalline storage device contained what seemed to be algorithmic sequences that suggested advanced computational modeling. Some sequences appeared to describe energy manipulation techniques that contemporary science could only theorize about. Others referenced communication protocols that implied potential interdimensional information transfer. Forensic linguistic experts noted peculiar grammatical structures within the recovered documentation. The language used seemed to blend technical German dialect from the 1940s with mathematical notation that incorporated symbols unknown in standard scientific communication of that era. Radiological and spectroscopic tests on the recovered materials produced anomalous results. Certain components exhibited quantum coherence properties that remained stable despite decades of environmental exposure. This suggested technological sophistication far beyond expected wartime research capabilities. By 2022, the research had transitioned from historical investigation to a profound scientific inquiry. The Alpine bunker was no longer just a historical site but had become a critical nexus for understanding potential technological boundaries that humanity might have unknowingly approached decades earlier. The OWL report, compiled by an international team of researchers, concluded that the site represented more than a mere archaeological discovery. It was evidence of a technological research trajectory that had been intentionally obscured, potentially representing scientific exploration that existed at the bleeding edge of human comprehension. What remained unclear was the ultimate purpose of the research. Were these technological fragments remnants of a failed experimental program, or were they deliberate seeds of knowledge, placed strategically to be discovered at a specific moment in human scientific development? The crystalline storage device and associated materials were transferred to a high-security research facility, where ongoing analysis continued. Access was strictly controlled, with only a handful of top-tier researchers granted permission to study the extraordinary artifacts. The Alpine bunker itself was carefully preserved, its underground chambers sealed but continuously monitored by an array of advanced sensors. Something profound had occurred within those walls, something that challenged conventional historical and scientific narratives. The mystery of Schwarz-Sonne remained fundamentally unresolved, a tantalizing intersection of history, technology, and scientific speculation. What had begun as a wartime research project had transformed into a contemporary enigma that continued to challenge humanity's understanding of technological potential. In the quiet Alpine landscape, the bunker stood as a silent testament to unexplored scientific frontiers, holding secrets that whispered of possibilities beyond current human comprehension. The International Scientific Consortium knew they were treading on unprecedented ground. Dr. Elena Richter, the lead researcher, understood that the recovered materials represented more than a technological curiosity. They were a potential paradigm shift in human understanding. Late one evening, as she reviewed spectral analysis reports, a subtle pattern emerged in the quantum coherence data. The crystalline storage device seemed to exhibit a form of self-organizing complexity that suggested deliberate, engineered information storage beyond traditional computational models. Quantum entanglement measurements revealed unexpected resonance frequencies that didn't align with any known physical laws. The materials appeared to maintain an internal structural integrity that defied standard material science principles, almost as if they possessed an intrinsic adaptive mechanism. By autumn of 2024, preliminary theories began to crystallize. The research suggested that the Schwarz-Sunne project wasn't simply a wartime technological experiment, but potentially a sophisticated attempt to understand fundamental energy manipulation at a quantum level. Classified reports hypothesized that the original researchers might have been exploring principles of information transfer that transcended traditional electromagnetic communication of something closer to quantum consciousness encoding. The Alpine bunker remained a sealed repository of potential knowledge, its underground chambers a silent archive of technological mysteries. Continuous monitoring revealed microscopic energy fluctuations within the sealed artifacts, suggesting that whatever technological principle was embedded remained dynamically active. Dr. Richter's team recognized they were witnessing something extraordinary, technological artifacts that seemed to exist in a liminal space between engineering and an almost metaphysical scientific frontier. The ultimate origins and intentions behind the Schwarz-Sunne project would likely remain an enigma. But the research had irrevocably expanded the boundaries of scientific imagination, revealing that human technological potential might be far more expansive than previously conceived. In the quiet mountains of Central Europe, the bunker continued its silent vigil, a testament to humanity's perpetual quest to understand the unknown, to push beyond current limitations, and to explore the profound mysteries that exist just beyond the edge of comprehension. The artifacts waited, their secrets partially revealed yet fundamentally mysterious, a bridge between historical speculation and future scientific revelation.